In a crowded world of 8 billion people, so many of us feel more isolated and lonelier than ever before. We all need to feel seen by someone, but for our children and teens, this is often the exception rather than the rule. We fail our kids when we surround them with systems with no soul. So what can we do about it? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Nikki, founder of the Spark Movement. My purpose in life is to bring spiritual wisdom back to the process of raising and educating children, keeping kids connected to their inner spark. This week I've been thinking a lot about being seen, or rather not being seen, and why it's so important. I had a recent conversation with a 14-year-old girl, and she told me that she didn't enjoy going to school and that it felt as if none of her teachers really knew her. They don't see me, she said, really sadly, and this really upset me because it feels like such a fundamental human need. What she was saying was that I don't have a meaningful connection to the adults in my school, that they don't seem to know who I am beyond a name on a register, and they don't reflect that knowing back to me. Now, of course, being a teacher is probably one of the hardest jobs around right now. There's a reason why teachers and teaching support staff are leaving the profession in their droves. And we'll talk more about that in another video. But can one teacher possibly see each child in a class of 30 or 40 with the constant pressure to cram information in these kids' heads in an impossible time frame, with a mountain of paperwork to complete to prove that all this knowledge has been absorbed by these small brains? Quite frankly, it's horrendous. So there's no blame here, but there is a sense of sadness because as much as that 14-year-old girl doesn't feel seen, well, that teacher isn't either. Her students are not feeling a deep connection to her or seeing who she really is either, because it goes both ways. And what results is a sea of humans of all ages wandering through life feeling devalued, unrecognised, sort of diminished in some way. When we feel seen by someone, we feel safe with them. We feel a sense of empathy and compassion. We feel validated in the right kind of way, not for what we do or how we look, but for who we are at the most fundamental level. And the seeing is reflected back to us. We actually get to see ourselves at a deeper level when we feel valued and seen by someone else. It's like this beautiful mirror that gets put up in front of us for a brief moment. We see our spark or our inner light shining back at us, and then we get to go and do that for someone else in the world, and it creates a ripple effect of light. But because our world is so devoid of soul, it makes it almost impossible to bring that level of awareness into our day-to-day actions. These huge super schools of thousands of kids, or workplaces that place people in silos, and social media that divides instead of connects, these are all examples of systems without soul. There's a lack of conscious awareness, there's no space for empathy, there's little room for healing. We become like robots almost, instead of allowing our humanness to flourish. But change is possible, and the process of bringing back soul or spark to our systems is achievable. It can start with just trying to truly see the people in our lives. It's something I try to do now, whatever role I'm in. When I manage teams or I'm in a leadership position, I know it's so important that I try and see those I work with at a deeper level and reflect back the very best of who they are in a meaningful way. Most importantly, I try and strive to ensure that I am deeply connected to who I am, that I let my spark shine out in the world, because when we do that, we give an implicit permission for others to do the same. And that's a role that each and every one of us can play right now. How can you see another human and reflect that back to them, especially the children and the teens in your life? It takes time to slow down, to pause, to centre, to notice. It takes self-awareness to put our own stuff to one side and not allow it to infect our relationships with others, because we're all going to have stresses and strains in our lives. But the most important thing that you can do is to be yourself, connect with your own spark, and let that light illuminate the way for others. It costs nothing and it means everything. So let me know in the comments below what makes you feel seen and what you're doing to reflect that in the children and teens in your life. I'd love to hear. Thanks for listening and helping us to ignite the spark. See you soon.